Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for the second edition of the Real Deal webinar. Now, this is a very special webinar because of the topic that we have chosen. It says pandemic versus the amusement sector. Who's going to win? So if we have to win, we need to have our strategies, we need combined efforts, collective intelligence to actually come out of this situation. So how do we do that? And what have people done in other countries, especially Europe and the UK regions? And we have got some fantastic panelists, and I would like to introduce you all to them first, and then we'll take the discussion forward. We have Simon Fuchs, who's the director, Rainbow Productions. He's joining us from the UK. Andrea Monari, he's the president, IE Park. He's joining us from Italy. Charlotte Van Eaton, she's the account manager with Coma Rides from Netherlands. And we have Saeed Abdullahi, he's a sales account manager for Embed, and he is joining us from the UAE. So welcome, panelists, and thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you. And I would like to welcome all the viewers who have joined us from close to 41 countries from across the globe. And I'm sure they will have a fantastic set of information or strategies or plans that you are going to share with them, and that will work well for their businesses in their countries. So let's start this webinar. My very first question would be to briefly share the on-ground situation in your countries with our audience today. So I'll start with Simon. Simon, you can start the discussion.
Thanks, Prem, and it's very nice to be welcome to a webinar where it's the first time I've heard the UK and the EU are joining us. Hopefully we're not going to touch on Brexit too much over the course of the next however long we're chatting. Yeah, the situation in the UK is that we're in lockdown at the moment. Lockdown means that there are no attractions that are open, and there are no non-essential retailers that are open. Anybody is allowed to come to work as long as they don't work from home. So it's made it's not as severe as the lockdown that we were experiencing in March, April of last year. And I think we can certainly see an awful lot of much more activity. And of course, the vaccination has given us all a whole world of optimism as well. So, although we're coming into this, or coming hopefully towards the end of this lockdown 3, as we're calling it, we are a lot more optimistic about the future, but we'll touch on all that later on.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Simon. Andrea?
Yes.
Let's go to Italy.
In Italy is pretty much similar to England, where we are debating whether we are either in the end of the second wave or the beginning of the third, because the decline of the second wave is moving horizontally and is mid. So we don't know exactly if it is third wave or second wave. Anyway, we are closed as far as we are in orange, which is actually orange zone, which is curfew between 10 at night till morning. And in this situation is only work. We can come to work with all the safety measures that we have experienced across the year, that stays and are strengthened even more. And we are dealing with the population is really having is boiling of this situation, have a different kind of anxiety. And anyway, the parks, shopping center are closed. FEC, gym, all closed. Restaurants closed, only takeaway.
Oh, that's tough situation, I would say, isn't it? We will come out of that, I'm sure, pretty soon with the vaccines coming up and being administered across. So hopefully we should be in a better position pretty soon. Charlotte, what's the scene in Netherlands?
Yeah, the Netherlands is unfortunately no exception. We are in a lockdown, which means that all the only the essential stores are open, which is basically food. Um, the In addition to that, we started an evening clock a curfew, which means that after 9 o'clock we cannot be outside. Unfortunately, the Netherlands is going around the world with the news because we have a lot of riots and protests. Demonstration is a right, but it ends up in a lot more than being a demonstration right now. So we have a very active police force and other security services to control the situation. So right now, the parks are closed, the stores are closed, working from home. Yeah, basically the same situation as in Italy and in the UK, so, and in Germany.
Okay, awesome. The key thing is, this is the situation that we are facing perhaps in majority of the countries across the globe. Uh, I would say there are certain exceptions. I think Saeed would agree with me. Saeed, would you like to comment on what's the actual story in the UAE?
Absolutely. So in general, the Middle East has been thriving within the FEC and amusement parks, especially the UAE. Most centers have now been open as normal for a while, but of course there's a strict COVID-19 safety protocols enforced, such as social distancing. It is absolutely mandatory to wear a mask, otherwise you face a fine if you don't wear the mask. So I think that's actually helped us massively over the last 10 months to deal with the pandemic. My markets obviously expand beyond that, and as Andrea, Simon, and Charlotte have said, my customers in Europe are all working out how to reopen safely post the vaccination and reopening, whilst the governments are trying, of course, to protect everyone in those regions. But we absolutely at Embed, we believe that the European markets will bounce back. Europe has amazing amusements and attractions and family entertainment centers, theme parks, museums, water parks, and so on. And of course, it's a much more mature, market with resilience. So I mean, absolutely no doubt that these great venues will see the return to some form of normality by the end of the year, and hopefully in the coming few years, definitely. But again in the Middle East, in the UAE, it's not been that bad at all.
Thank you, Saeed. Uh, Charlotte, basically, when we touched upon yesterday, you had a lot of good things to also share, the learnings, the kind of strategies that you adopted during these, tough months, and you had some case studies to share. So perhaps if you could share, some of these success stories with our, audience, that would be wonderful.
Mhm. Okay, so at Vekoma, basically in the office, we have our IT department has managed to have over 300 people working from home, very efficient, having the meetings as it is. And that works fine. And that will probably also be part of the new situation in the future, that people will be able to work from home and of course, they will have more opportunity to go to the office because not everyone is happy working from home because of kids being homeschooled at the moment, maybe not having the right location in a house to facilitate this. But basically, it's working out very well. Our management has been extremely supportive of all our staff. And as far as projects go, we have been lucky that we had a lot of projects in Asia where the situation was under control at a much earlier phase than here in Europe. The good thing is we also learned that we could do, even with supervision, we have done some projects with remote supervision, which was great. I mean, people, of course, have to work night shifts here because of all the different time zones, but it's been working out well. And in addition, we have been able to get people to the sites in the US, in Asia, with the quarantine and with all the restrictions that are available. But we have managed to finish about 20 projects in 2020. And we still have a lot of projects coming up for scheduled to open in 2021. And working together with the park has been a great experience. The other advantage is that we do have staff in Asia, in China, so we don't necessarily have to send people over from the Netherlands because we have the technical support and the sales support within Asia. So for Vekoma, that has been a good thing. Of course, there are projects that have been postponed. I mean, there is no way of denying that, and I think everyone has incurred that same problem, but at least working with the parts and trying to manage to finalize the projects has been a great experience.
That's great.
And
that's great. Amazing. In fact, that's a great success story, I would say. I mean, 20 projects, it's not a joke in 2020, especially. It's hats off to you guys. Now, what's the scene in Italy, Andrea? What were you doing busy? Were you busy doing during these 9 months?
Actually, the awareness of going into the lockdown, Italy was the first area that experienced back in March the impact of the COVID-19 outbreak. That was something hard to believe and difficulty to shut down, first of all, because that was quite fast in mid-March. From 15th of March to 23rd of March, we had to close. And then suddenly we find ourselves, luckily we had like 20, 25 people that we could manage immediately the smart work. And we continue. We stop the production and we continue by the smart work that surprisingly we were already contemplating these technologies with mobile, with laptops, with all the softwares, but that has been increased, has been probably from 7-8 people, we quickly jumped to those 25 people from smart work. Suddenly, after those 45 days, were really we were really jailed. This is the real experience with all the difficulties that Charlotte has outlined, that organize who can work from home and all the difficulties, because also the family members, the problems of the other member of the families, the location of the. So all this was such a tremendous impact that soon after 40 days, we see that luckily the wave declined, and we say, oh, we have to open. How we open? That was another experience that I could have. I could entertain you for probably 1 hour in describing the experience of the opening, because even the governmental province region, they were not ready to contemplate how we hope. There was not a protocol,
right.
Real protocol. That resulted somehow that in a few weeks we opened, and the 1st of in early May, gradually we have had those 10, 20 people at work in the factory. That was the minimal to have the critical mass to organize the delivery. And to be honest, I have to say that our regional governor, was introducing one aspect. It was I feel that was the most critical. It was very important. We could deliver the goods, we could dispatch the goods that were ready. That was the one element that allow us to restart Then the summertime, it was almost flattened, was back to normal. We've been in very good, to be honest, very good summertime production, order, deliveries. But October, November, end of September, early October, we start to have problems of lockdown again, and we are still, to be honest, we are still experiencing how to exit from this situation.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you so much for that insight. And now I'll move to Simon. Simon, your comments on this.
Thanks. Yeah, it's interesting that I think if we just go back to where we were February last year, we had no idea. Hindsight's been a great thing. 11 months, 12 months later, we're looking back on where we were. We went into immediate lockdown, so all staff left the building. We literally turned the sign around, and there it said closed, and there it remained for however long it did. But we realized we still had a business to do, so we had to strategize. And I think immediately we sat down there, we wrote a defensive column, and we wrote an offensive column. Obviously, the defensive one was, let's limit our expenditure. The offensive one is, how can we get back trading again? So there's two sides to our business. There's one which is a live events. Well, clearly in lockdown, there's no live events that are going to be happening. Yeah. We were able to postpone an awful lot of the events that we had planned for the remainder of the year. A lot of it has moved into this year now. So, I have to say the order book going forward is looking pretty good on live events, because I think listening to BALPO, which is the British Association, the IAPA equivalent in the UK, they're very confident that we're going to have a huge summer. We're all anticipating come the 1st of July, the vaccination program's going very well. People are desperate to get out. We've just enjoyed an amazing weekend of snowfall here in the UK, and every child in the nation couldn't wait to get out there and actually enjoy themselves. So from as far as live events is concerned, we're optimistic it's going to bounce back. Well, clearly our strategy going back to last year was, well, come what may, we had to run live events, otherwise we haven't got a company. So we changed the way that we manage live events so that each one would be managed with integrity. We represent about 120 brands, and there was a huge demand for people to see the characters that we've done in the same way that we've done for the last 30 years. So we created an adaptive character engagement whereby children, families could meet them, could meet the characters, but more importantly, our clients could actually stimulate footfall. And although we were curbing the attendance figures, the way that they were managing it was giving time slots to families to come into the leisure attractions, and especially the smaller ones. So over the course of a day, they were actually driving more footfall because people were able to be much more specific about the time zones that they were going to see. So that's on the live event side. On the manufacturing side, well, immediately we closed the workshop, because I think we realized that the only way for Rainbow to get out of this pandemic financially would be to keep the workshops going. So initially we went into making protective equipment that weren't quite up to the standard that the NHS were demanding, but certainly the next tier down, which was hospices, which was care homes, we could support them. So we opened the workshops immediately to start producing protective equipment. After a period of time, we realized actually we need to get these workshops open again. We had a lot of orders going through, and one of our offensive strategies was, as Andrea mentioned earlier on, was let's get things back being produced, let's get things out of the door. clients still wanted them. The rest of the world, as Saida said, were actually slightly more advanced. They were able to start running operations. So our production department immediately opened, and there we are now. We've sealed the production department so that we know we're on different timescales, we're on different production pods, so that we know that if there is a COVID comes into the building, that we don't have to close the whole building. So that was very much a part of our offensive strategy. And I think everybody had to do the same. We all had to change the way that we were currently working, with a view to this being around for 2 to 5 years. We never thought it would be over and done by June of last year. We thought this would be a 2 to 5 year program. So that's what we've implemented. And you know, the return to live events and live immersive experiences is a little bit down the line. We know that. But I think when the better weather comes, certainly in the UK and the rest of Europe, I think we can be pretty optimistic that we're going to have a season. And that's the important thing. We're going to have a season.
Mhm.
Thanks so much, Simon. Thank you so much. That's really good to hear that you are positive about the situation and the upcoming future. Now, Saeed, what are your thoughts? I'm sure Embed has also embarked on a lot of different initiatives, which was away from your core of business offering. So please, could you share that case study with us? Yeah.
So for us in mid-March, actually at the Amusement Expo show in New Orleans, we won 2 awards for innovation, including the Operator's Choice Award for innovation for our Embed mobile wallet. And without a question, the year was shaping up to be absolutely wonderful. And within 48 hours, the pandemic was declared. So immediately after that, it became very clear, and with great leadership, actually, our CEO, Renee Welsh, and the executive team went into action straight away as soon as the pandemic was declared. And we went about a process of innovation with a 6-week cycle of innovation, working remotely, of course, redefining processes around the business, working around the clock to make a difference to our customers and beyond that. So when the world went dark, we kind of had a light coming out of the innovations that we were doing. And this led to what we call the Embed COVID-19 Relief Act, which is actually that award-winning technology of the mobile wallet and portal was offered to all our customers and non-customers, so to the entire industry. I guess the question that we constantly ask ourselves here at Embed was, how can we get people back on their feet with everything being closed, with new protocols on health and safety? So the mobile wallet and portal is the only non-loyalty, non-banking card in the mobile wallet. We very quickly recognized that the world's economy, or most people, in the way the transactions are done, are now geared more towards the mobile phones. So the Embed mobile wallet and portal is actually designed to include capacity management as well, and to protect people from using the normal cards. In addition to that, as part of our 6-week cycle of innovation, we've released a completely brand new product with the Embed Hygiene Defense. Again, everything that we've done in that time, especially at the early days of the pandemic, was to get people back on their feet. How can we make venues reopen safely? We've done all the marketing to reopen, as well as the social distancing posters, as well as the cleaning products. So we while everything was tough, at the same time, it hasn't actually, at Embed anyway, it hasn't stopped us from innovating to help people get back on their feet.
That's great, Saeed. I mean, this is a situation which we have never faced in our lives. So I think it's a great, a new whiteboard, I would say, and it's up to us in terms of what we actually write and paint on it. And I think at the moment we need to take that thought forward, and that innovation, that spirit of creativity, and the ideas to the market. So I've got a few questions from the audience, and they are asking you all in terms of what can we expect in the year, I mean, the second half of 2021, assuming that, for example, we are all administering vaccines across different countries. So let's look at, say, for example, May, June onwards. What is your prediction? What do you think will the industry, have in their, dashboard?
I think the first thing we've all got to realise is that social distancing is here to stay. We can't put a time scale on that, but there's no question for the rest of the year that we will all be adhering to social distancing, which will give consumers confidence as well as the operators. They'll be operating the same way as they were operating when they managed to open in the summer for a period of time. But I think we've also, all of us, got to be expected to open at short notice. We've got to be ready for when that call comes to say, right, guys, off you go. The lights are green. And I think that's the we're in a very unpredictable period, but what we have to do is we have to predict, we have to plan for us all opening and returning to an element of normality. Whether or not this is optimistic or not, we've got to plan and be prepared to open in the summer and make the most of what the rest of the year has got to offer.
True. So, Charlotte, what do you have to say? I mean, what are your thoughts in terms of ideas and in terms of your predictions for 2021, the rest of 2021?
In my opinion, it all depends how they can control and maybe prevent the third wave. But once people are vaccinated, the only thing is the vaccination program is slightly behind because of availability of the different vaccines. But I think once people are able to go outside again, I think everyone, after almost a year, more than a year at that time, they want to go out, they want to have fun. People have no spending, had no spending pattern in the previous year because they couldn't go, they couldn't spend their money, they couldn't go to parks. So I think even with the extra vacation allowance that you get in the Netherlands as part of your salary, people have saved this and they will absolutely flock to the parks. I think as soon as you can get out, it's the same as what Simon said this morning. We also had snow and people want to go out. In my opinion, once we are able to do that, and I don't think it's gonna be before May, June at the earliest. But I'm very optimistic that parks will open, even with the social distancing, even with the mask, but people can't wait to get out. And you need this fun, you need this relaxed time. So I don't think that anyone will be hesitating going to parks, going to entertainment centers, being outside, meeting friends. So as far as that goes, I think there is an absolute willingness to go and enjoy life again as soon as it is possible. And even if it is within the restrictions that are that will be applicable during 21 and even into the first quarter of 22.
Sure. Thanks, Charlotte. Andrea, your comments on that?
Absolutely agreeing with Simon and Charlotte comments, opinion, adding perhaps the fact that the public, the public will be probably more regional, more national, less international, less. So probably these will come later on. We will have an impact of having to rely on for our parks, our client, mostly on a regional client customers. This is my feeling. It's for sure reduced amount of international traveling because there is no protocol, there is lack of confidence. We have to regain the confidence and the trust of meeting again people. because I don't know what is happening to you, but to me, it's with endeavoring all level best. I have no problem of meeting all the people, all the families, all closest friends, but then I become more anxious when I am meeting and this other. And that I think is global now.
True.
Mhm.
For sure,
Yeah.
this impact of dealing with bring back the people, and how we can work to bring back the people to our customer, how our product can be enjoyed, how can be used, how we assist that is the new the way forward that we have to take care. Probably from I'm positive that the vaccination program will get momentum between now and summertime, and I think that around May, June, as we said, we will start to have a better situation.
Wonderful, wonderful. Saeed, your comments.
I think the other panelists have all hit the nail on the head, and I share their sentiment. I mean, after a long period of enforced social and professional isolation, I think people are desperate, like everyone said, to reconnect with their friends. This is an innate human instinct. We are social animals at the end of the day, so that's never gonna be in doubt. That as an industry, we will be um, the industry that brings people back to normality. And I think that that's going to be the central core of what we do, from what we've done previously and what we're doing now. Everybody wants to go to a place that is safe.
True.
It was quite interesting to actually compare on the first initial wave the difference between, say, some of the Middle East countries like the UAE and the enforced social distancing rules and on sites, where in the UK, for example, this wasn't taken seriously. So I think everyone's taking it seriously now. But as an entertainment cashless system provider, we don't actually see cash in the next, cash will still be there, but a lot of people don't want to handle dirty money or cash. So most venues have to be aware of that. And then going forward to the rest of the year, I think after a period of uncertainty, I'm very optimistic that things will get back to a semblance of normality, at least by middle of the year, if not towards the last quarter of the year.
Lovely. Thanks, Saeed. So getting into specifics, there are people who are asking us questions. They are asking for ideas in terms of, going outdoor. Do we, have a mobile concept? What are the suggestions? Like, for example, people don't want to be indoors because of the COVID situation, social distancing, and all that. However, if we have a concept which goes door to door, based on, of course, each country and their regulations, if that's possible. So these are few ideas that they have suggested. Now, do you have any such ideas that you can provide the audience with, so that they can come up with their own, maybe separate business plan or a new concept and survive this pandemic? So, Simon, you have any comments? We'll begin
I
with
think
you.
one thing I think all I can do is talk about one of the innovations that we've made to help some of the operators as well.
Right.
Where we've built the business on meet and greets. So we've built the business on that mantelpiece photograph of a child or a family hugging a character at a theme park, and that's what they bring back and put on the mantelpiece. Well, clearly we haven't been able to do that. So where we've invested over the course of the last year is writing mini shows, so that they're much more demonstrative and participative, but they're less interactive, they're less immersive and physically interactive. So I think one thing that we've been speaking to a lot of parks about is creation of mini shows. So we've sort of changed the emphasis of what we've been doing for bringing people to us. We've actually shown them that and written the shows, and the licensors that we've worked with and the IP and the brand holders have been very, very supportive in doing so. So I think that's one aspect that we've just turned on its head, the meet and greets into mini shows.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's great. So Charlotte, your comments, your thoughts on that?
Um, yeah, basically, at the moment, as long as you cannot have physical visitors in parks or FECs, you need to keep the momentum. And as Simon said, you know, the meet and greet, the characters. I think if every park or FEC would set up like a streaming that people can participate, so they continue to have the connection. And I think that's an important thing. I know Disney does that with streaming, but I think other parks can also do the same. Have some esports that people are active. You see a lot of games, but also connect that to the entertainment industry. There are esports centers. Vekoma is also part of that, but I see a lot of advantages because you can do that online. You can kick a ball online, you can jump online and things like that. And later on, they can do that in the physical sports centers again. So included in FECs, in shopping malls and things like that. But keep the momentum going so they know they will find you in real life again once this is over, or at least diminished.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's important to keep your brand alive and connect with your consumers in whatever way possible. And of course, you need to come up with ideas and brainstorm with your team and the industry, I would say, to come up with solutions. And that's a constant process, at least for the next few months, I would say. Saeed, your thoughts on that?
I think, you know, as Charlotte was saying, the interesting part is the that physical sports activity. I mean, we've all seen that virtual offerings have been so popular during this time because people want to actually have the experience without losing the thrill factor. And a good example of this actually is in Dubai. There's a great VR experience at Dreamscape at the Mall of Emirates, where the customers are able to interact with whales, dinosaurs, and all kinds of virtual animals. So there's definitely a growth in that in as we move forward. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's, you know, being online, being mobile. Essentially for us, I think the mobile will be at the center of the currency. There's actually plenty of research that indicates that everything is going to go contactless. So we are at the trying to stay ahead of that curve with, again, mobile wallet and portal.
Awesome, awesome.
Cool.
What you mentioned, Simon, is also they have even musea tours here. So basically, because people cannot visit the musea, they do virtual tours of the musea that you can register for. And as I said, the brand, as long as people continue to be aware that, yes, we are a little bit quiet right now in the industry, but we will be back and keep the connection, the momentum, and the brand going. So, and you know, in Dubai, that's a great example. And you see that here in the Netherlands too. People do go to online activities with families to be entertained.
True.
And that keeps the family together, because that's an also very important item right now, where everyone is on each other's lip all day. So you need to do some fun and interactivity. Yeah.
Great. Andrea, what are your thoughts? Or what do you think? What are the ideas that people should follow? Or
it's a complex challenge, the going mobile. It's a complex challenge because it's new for the parks. If they are thinking it's something that need to be considered for the parks, although we have some experience that parks already organize events, eventually promoting, but that is not actually the real answer. Parks has a different, will have or has had his own approach to the mobile. Is a contradiction in the word itself, park versus mobile, no? So the declination of this answer of parks implementing mobile or group of parks, this is something that has to be written, to be honest, and I don't have a specific answer, but I can consider that the events like Simon is considering, it's one possible. The other problem is going mobile for another large section of the market, which is the family entertainment center, which is indoor, under the situation of the pandemic. This is another element, because all these groups aren't the groups, they are asking, yes, it's true, they are asking mobile products, but the mobile products, it require another approach, another technical solution, and another organization. This is ongoing. This is ongoing. We have in Europe excellent companies that have had experience, and they still have experience of mobile products. This is something that has to impact and cross-check with the regulation of traveling, because according to the new regulation of the new engineering, it is in general creating more massive product, the new regulation, and this contrasts with the necessity of lightness of the product and easy movement. So the complexity is really something that has to be analyzed, and I don't think there is already a straight answer. It's something that will really come out from talk face to face with the customers that are willing to move to become mobile, to have their branch of mobile organization with machine, equipments, events. This is, there are companies and groups that are already implementing, and that are already prepared. Sure. Then there is the other branch, other segment of the market, which is the mobile park itself. It exists. It's there. It's there already. It's there in the different part of the world, but they aren't allowed to work.
Right, right.
In Europe, you see the revolution that there is in Europe, there is in Spain, there is in other part of Europe. I'm not particularly, I don't have this data regarding the rest of the world, but there are mobile organization, parks, individual, small, medium, large operators, that they have the equipments. There are operators with hundreds of equipments in the continents that aren't allowed to work at the current time. Even there are protocols. So this is something that IAPA, for example, should really analyze and lobbying at international level, because a lot of our operators, they are sitting back and they aren't allowed to work.
Okay. Cool.
I would think that the parks, the FECs players, and the Luna Park or mobile players, they have, each of them has a different answer, is more or less prepared. It's a complex, but talking on behalf of the manufacturer, there are excellent experience, there are excellent companies that are able already to build, to manufacture those equipments for serving the mobile entertainment industry.
Cool. Thanks for that detailed response, Andrea. There's a question that has come from the audience, which says that due to lockdown, a lot of these FECs and even the theme parks are, closed. So the machinery, the equipment, they all for almost maybe 6 to 8 months or 9 months, they've not been used. So as manufacturers, what are you going to do to help them, Charlotte and Andrea, especially for you?
The parks that we have worked with right now, we did continue to have our services team at the parks, work closely, make sure they follow the manuals, the inspections, because even though the parks are closed, there's still staff in the park. Construction is still, limited, of course, with limited staff, has continued. And even though there are no guests, there is still support. We have 24-hour support if people have questions. And as far as I know, they still do certain, sometimes like run the trains and do the inspections. And our P&S team is 24/7 available to assist. And even our engineering and a lot of parks also have taken this opportunity not to invest in new attractions, but to do improvements on an existing coaster, to renew trains, upgrade trains. So basically, we have been communicating with the park on a very regular basis.
Lovely. Andrea, your comments on that?
Yes, the communication with our clients around the world. We export to 120 countries, and we have regular relation daily. We have increased the media rooms here at the factory where we can communicate. We are improving, updating the manuals. We are planning to make seminars. We have done seminars, in particularly on the innovation of the smart bumper car, which is a great project of innovation. And we will continue in the 2021 to promote this way to contact with the customers. We have traveling is a problem, and amusement parks, they are the technical office of amusement parks. The managers are really working and dealing with us, ordering spare parts. In fact, actually, the spare parts department is in full swing in producing parts for many customers with extraordinary assistance. We have seminars with Russians, for example, with Taiwan, with all customers in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia, in Denmark. We regularly talk every day with the customer. For sure, for those parks that they have closed, or those operators that they aren't allowed to work at the minute, who has mobile rights and is dismounted, that is something. Even in that market niche, we notice that a lot of operators, they are doing extraordinary. They are sending information. They are explaining to us, look how nice we repainted. How actually we are learning from them. We are learning. We have. There are operators that we want to say, my friend, you have done a spectacular work. I have to talk about you in my next press release, iPark press release. We will talk about you because you have done something unbelievable. You are teaching us, for example. It's
awesome.
Excellent communication. So even in these critical times, we have open dialogue. And our community, with this open dialogue, will go out, will find a way, because the way out, and will prosper again after this situation.
Thanks, Andrea. Moving from the outdoor parks to FECs now. Saeed, you are connected with so many FECs as well. So what are your thoughts now? Where are we from the FEC point of view? Like, especially when you see UAE, we are pretty much open in terms of malls and retail establishments. So and also fairly open in GCC as well. So what are your thoughts? Where are we on the FEC space?
Sure. I think the first thought that comes to mind is, of course, helping people back to open up, helping them back on their feet, saving them money, which might be in some occasions when you reopen might be in short supply. One of the things that I've noticed is, for example, as part of the innovation that we did, we have our hygiene defense products, which are highly appreciated because if an FEC has been closed for say 10 months and it decides to reopen, it's very important to understand what type of chemicals they're going to be cleaning those games with. There are cases where the customers, an arcade's plastic casing goes off color because they've used the wrong chemical. So this is something to protect the assets that we have available to our customers. The other thing that we've seen is the gradual uptake of our mobile phone technology with mobile wallets. And the reason for that is what mobile wallet does is it saves money because each individual account that would normally use an RFID card now uses one RFID card, and then you can create unlimited virtual cards. So, for example, if you take your child to an FEC and you're afraid your child's going to touch things, you have a phone that you've already sanitized. You can actually do in-game credit for that particular child. So, if the balance is low and you're in the cafeteria, you could say, okay, you know what, I'll stick another €10 or $10 on the on their card, virtual card, without them even leaving the game. So we have made it as easy as possible for our customers to reopen, as well as marketing support, as well as of course keeping them safe and making sure that the customers trust them. So if you go to, I was at Fun City the other day. You enter Fun City, and of course you've got your temperature taken. You get your sanitizers. You're wearing your mask, and the games are wiped down quite regularly. The only thing I would add to that is the embed hygiene defense is done in a way that allows you to do a single wipe down of a surface area for up to 4 hours. So we also thought about that. If you're constantly after each game, if you're spraying, again, that might damage the equipment.
So could you describe that scene when you went to Fun City or near the FEC? What did you see? What was the reaction of people? Like, are they jumping on and as before, or is there what is the kind of scene? Can you describe that?
Absolutely. I took my daughter there and I had to queue up, which was the first, because that particular store, I mean, that a lot of locations, big locations, were slightly delayed in terms of the reopening compared to the smaller venues. So it was so reassuring just being there and seeing the queue that is socially distanced. Straight away, I knew, since I had my child with me, of course, from a parent's perspective, you see other kids being temperature checked, parents being temperature checked, and surprisingly, it was very busy on a normal weeknight, which even at the height of the normality, it was sometimes a Monday morning or a Monday night would be quieter than a Friday night, for example. So it was lovely to see the maximum capacity. Of course, there are limitations to how many people that could be there at any given time, as per the government guidelines. But I had to then wait on another queue to get on virtual rabbits, which my daughter absolutely loved. So it was good. The games are cleaned and the site is sanitized, and it's been like that with all the other big ones that I visited during the time, including Magic Planets and other customers' sites that we have. So make no mistake, the Middle East has done, in terms of leadership, in terms of vision, in terms of the simple adherence to basic safety protocols, you know, we are okay. And I hope those lessons can be transferred to some of the other markets on reopening.
Absolutely.
So if anyone listening to us today who wants to reopen after the second lockdown or anywhere in the world, they can contact us and we would be able to get them most of the marketing material and technology they need to do that.
That's wonderful. Wonderful, Said. Simon, your comments. Now we've got
Mm.
very few minutes left for this webinar, but then people are still there and they want to listen and get more out of this. What are the kind of thoughts or suggestions that you would like to share with the audience in terms of what they should do moving forward? Any kind of anecdotes or whatever. Your thoughts on that? Yeah.
I think just picking up a bit what Charlotte said and Andrea mentioned earlier on as well is that cash flow is going to be tight for everybody. All of us business owners, cash flow is very, very tight. So what can we do to maximise those limited resources that we have at the moment? And equally, we are. A lot of parks that we're working with at the moment are not investing in new characters. They're simply just refurbishing existing ones because we've got a tough time ahead of us. Until we're out of this. However pessimistic we are about what's happened over the course of the last 11 months, all of us can be very positive about where we're going now. And there will be a rainbow after the storm. There always is. So we're keeping positive in our little world.
Absolutely. Charlotte, what are your, advice? What's the pieces of advice that you would like to give to the people who are listening to us today?
Yeah, basically what I mentioned before, I really do believe that people now, they know how they have a restricted life. They so much more are going to appreciate the freedom. And yes, everyone wants to go out. Vacation is coming up this summer, and maybe we can travel again. Although Andrea said international, it's going to take a while, but I think that with the vaccination, international travel will be possible again, and people want to go out because the Netherlands is a small country, and you don't want 17 million people vacationing in their own country. So yes, people want to go out. People do want to go ski in Italy, Austria, and as soon as that is allowed. And in addition, yes, I think the parks, especially within Europe, there will be international travel and people do want to go out. So I would say hold on to the rules that are currently issued by the government, and that's the only way together that we can conquer this and get over it faster. So abiding by the rules really helps for us to expedite opening and getting our freedom back.
Thanks, Charlotte. Thank you. Andrea, your comments.
Well, I think that we have to live with the social distancing. Is a given fact that will stay. It will continue to be for another year and a half, 2 years at least, until we get confidence to how to get together in the old way. But in the meantime, I think we have to we are now aware how beautiful is our industry, how beautiful, how lucky we are of doing what we are doing. We are bringing smile, we manufacturing and you manage products to entertain people, to make the people happy. And what it is necessary now is people want to be happy, like all of the panelists are clearly mentioning, and how everybody is experiencing. They want to be happy. They want to be happy, and they want to be happy in a green environment. They want to be happy in a new economy. They want to be happy in a circular economy, in a greener planet. So I think these few words we will read more and more, and our sensibility, our creativity, our capacity to deliver product, to listen the customer needs, and to turn it into product, services, shows is great, and will be positive. Probably not or not in full swing already in 2021, but in the second part of the year, after the vaccination get momentum, we will see something positive coming out.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Andrea. Said, your comments at the end.
Well, to sum it up, I would say that fun is not overrated. Just as Andrea and the rest of the panelists have said, it just needs to change slightly. You know, just a little tweak here and there should see us back. And you know, the technology. Some of this technology now is available for free. I would probably say, Andrea, I share Andrea's view of social distancing being enforced for at least for the foreseeable future. But most definitely, you know, we are committed to helping the market back, and we are committed to, you know, making sure our customers have the least troubled path through these difficult times, and with that, we will be offering certain things that they require to push them along.
Lovely.
Stay
Thank you.
resilient.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We need to stay mentally positive, and I would say I mean, Deal is also hosting. You know, a live physical show in the month of May, and I'm sure by then, the world would have come down to some kind of a normalcy, I would say, and we will expect to see all of you there physically interacting with people. Yes, of course, you will have social distancing, you will have your masks on, but at least there will be a physical interaction, and so that's something which we are going to look forward to, and we are just few months away for that mega event, I would say, for the industry. And wish you all the very best. And thank you once again for joining us for the second edition of Deal webinar. And I would like to thank all these lovely members who have joined from the industry from across 41 countries. And once again, thank you, everyone. And thanks for so much. I mean, so, you know, what do you call, the experiences that you've shared is amazing. And I'm sure people have benefited out of this whole webinar. Thank you so much once again. Take care. See you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.